Previously on Job Talk, the commentary game show talking about jobs. We talked to our contestants Mixmaster Mitchell Fontaine and Mert about the process of building and distributing a resume to various employers. As is only human, we're sure it left some of you true believers shaking your heads and thinking, how will I know when I'm ready to show up to an interview? Well, for the time being, I must ask you forget what your programming taught you as a child. Because in this case, it's all about what's on the outside. I'm your host, Peter, the disembodied voice of Peter Findlebop, but you can just call me Didabop. Welcome to the show.
Seriously, where has that voice been coming from? Let's welcome another potential hiree, Gary Man Fisher.
Hello, I'm Gary Fisher. I used to be an angel hat salesperson. By angels, for angels. I used to have trouble covering up my wings and halo. But thanks to these specially designed hats, I was able to fit into society without people constantly asking me why in gosh dang heck I was dressed like Mercy from Overwatch. I would absolutely love to take you to the holy filing cabinet hallway labyrinth and let the sorting hat sort you into the right hat for hat's sake. I was really happy to be able to help people who deal with the same problems I used to deal with. And to help others with all different levels of hat needs. So we could all live a normal hat life. I worked with a lot of really great folks. In fact, one of my references was my supervisor, Saint Jeff, the patron saint of reasonably priced headwear. Saint Jeff, the hat head man, always said, with the right work on the inside and the right hat on the outside, you can do anything. Hello, Glenjamin. Oh, that's such a nice name. I'm just so happy to be here on your beautiful show, made by such wonderfully blessed human men and women on the most glorious day I could be inhabiting the planet Earth.
Hats off to you and your unnatural positive vigor. So, in your My Life Cognitopia video, you said you were an angel hat salesperson?
That's right, Glenn. I sold hats by angels for angels. It was a really rewarding experience. But I'm ready to move on into a career closer to shoes and shoelace accessories.
That's an admirable mission statement. It's good to grow many different skills and trades throughout your career. Alternatively, it's good to get really great at one skill or trade as well. So, how do you keep track of all of those skills?
Well, after my first job, I immediately made a resume to log everything I have accomplished. I think the next step for me is to make an elevator pitch. That's when I get to say all the things I love about myself really fast.
You're ever so close, Gary, but an elevator pitch is a bit more complicated than that. It's a sales pitch in which you must sell your very self in the short span of an elevator ride, or more specifically, around 20 to 45 seconds. Now that is a lot of info that you have to convey in a short time, so it's important to remember to introduce yourself. Tell them what you can do and what you want. Give them a rundown of your biggest strengths and tell them what you hope to get out of this job.
Who is that?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. The next thing I do is question prep. This is where I run through a few questions that could come up during my job interview.
Good strategy. You can never be 100% sure what they're going to ask you in the moment, so it's best to familiarize yourself with the most common interview questions and run over how you'd answer them. Some examples are questions like, tell me about yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? How do you solve a conflict? Etc.
I like to practice in front of a mirror. Tell me about yourself. You already know about me. You are me.
Thank you for your time, Gary. Well, let's welcome our next guest live from the Doritos Locos Hospital for the terminally chill, jonesing for a cupcake Steve.
Hey, I'm jonesing for a cupcake, Steve. I used to be an aquatic baker. I made cupcakes. Just cupcakes. But it was underwater. Have you ever made a cupcake underwater? They just get all soggy and fall apart. It doesn't make for a good cupcake. It makes for... cupcake. So that's why I want to look for a new job. I have 10 years of aquatic baking experience. 10 cupcakeless years. So I'm well versed in a variety of underwater kitchens, and I'm a certified diver. I work with dedication to complete all my goal. All my cupcake-filled goal. And I'm ready to put that dedication to use at your business. I'll help you have your cake, and eat it too.
Welcome to the show, Steve.
Oh, please. Steve was my father. You can just call me Jonesin for a cupcake, Steve.
Okay, so I'm told you're getting ready for a couple of different interviews.
Yeah, I'm interested in a few different fields, so I'm interviewing at a few different jobs.
So how are you scheduling these interviews?
Well, Glennie, it's important to keep a well-planned schedule so you arrive at each interview on time. And by on time, I mean try to be 10 minutes early. Yes, very important. Like preheating the oven. If you don't preheat, you wait longer for the nourishment. And I don't know about you, Glenjamin, but frankly, I like to be nourished.
Okay then.
That's why I've mapped it all out here on my yarn and sandwich condiment-based calendar and brainstorm board. The system dictates that days where I don't have an interview are marked with peanut butter and jelly, whereas days where I do have an interview are marked with peanut butter and banana. It helps them stick out.
I mean, I use Cognitopia's goal guide as a calendar to keep track of things. It could maybe help things be easier for you if you want to try it out.
No, everyone else does life wrong. I even planned out how I'll get to the interview. I'll deliver cupcakes for dessert the evening before with the cupcake cruiser.
What else are you doing to prepare for going to the interview?
Well, I spent time doing research into what the job position I would like to apply for actually takes to do. Then I picked out a dress shirt and slacks for my interview for an office job, and a polo and jeans for the job where I do manual labels.
Great idea, Steve! Great idea, Steve! You at home should do the same. More specifically, by this routine, wear dress shirts and slacks. However, the dress code varies from place to place. Good rules of thumb to keep in mind are, keep your face and hair clean, shave facial hair, make sure clothes are tidy and professional looking. You know that fancy shirt you own? You know, the one piece of clothing you actually keep on a hanger? It's time to bust that bad boy out.
I still don't know why you asked me to do this.
That's an important part of the portfolio building and career expanding cycle, as common as making sure to keep track of hygienics is, right, Jones and Fora?
Oh geez, I totally forgot about that part. I'll be sure to put it on my calendar to shower that week.
You should probably be doing that daily, Steve. It's daily you should do that.
What's next? Should I shave and brush my teeth?
That's definitely an important part of taking care of yourself and providing nourishment to your life.
You know, after saying it like that, I'm in. Since now that I'm on land, I guess I'll have to start taking my adult life more seriously.
What are you doing?
fusing my consciousness with this cupcake so I may therefore achieve the logical next step in human evolution.
Peter?
Well, that does it for this week's episode of Job Hunt Survival Edition. Today we went over dressing well for your interview, scheduling and arriving on time for said interview, and keeping proper regular hygiene. Tune in next time when we...
Or I could just do this.